Anyway, do you understand the goal of what we're doing here? Of what we're turning the fan on, fixing here crystal clear. Do you understand our goal of what we're doing here? Of what we're trying to do? Because this is for people who, not the haters. The haters are what the haters are. The haters are going to hate regardless. They're going to hate whether I'm doing projection screens. They're going to hate whether I'm doing cardboard bills or sculptures. They're going to hate whether I'm doing PC. They're going to do whether I'm doing fashion design. It makes no difference. They're just bitter people. That's just who they are. But anyway, but for other people who watch our videos, do you understand the goal of what our company is doing to achieve and what we're working on doing? Do you understand what we're doing? Because if you don't understand, you don't understand exactly how expensive home theater is. Home theater technically is not made for, let's just say, people of a certain class. It's made for people who got money. That's what it is. You're looking at most likely the cheaper builds. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at the budget screens, stuff like that. But technically, there is a couple of posts that I go to on Facebook, and this is set up for people who have money. Technically, your screen is supposed to be high grade certified, not white, because white's a budget screen. Gray screens, it's a budget screen. Because again, a gray screen is supposed to be like a better solution to a white screen, but it's still a budget screen. In no way, in any way whatsoever, would ever match a certified screen. It just won't match it. Certified screens is far more superior than a gray screen on any level. It just is. So you're basically, if you're talking about high-end setup, you would be spending easily $3,000 to $7,000 for a screen. Let me see here. Let's bring something here. I don't know what you want to call it here. What a high-end setup really is supposed to cost you. So let's go with Dark Star 9. Dark 9. That's the cheapest screen we have right now. Let's see right now. I'll read the screens. So let me see. Clutchville has right here the Dark Star 9. Now, my customers who do business with us, people who have companies at the end of the day who save a lot of money through my business, they understand our goal. Now, if you were to go out and buy a Dark Star 9, this is what you're supposed to have. Again, a gray screen paint is not a professional high-end paint. It's not. If it was, it would be able to overpower one of these screens, which is an Elite screen, Dark Star 9. Now, this screen right here is a high-performance screen. This is what you're supposed to have when you're doing home theater setup. You're supposed to have one of these or a Screen Innovation, DMP Supernova, a high-end screen. And out of their collection of their screens, as you can see, it's a darker screen, as you can see. Not a light gray screen, it's a darker screen, which means this is a much more high-performance screen than any gray screen on the market because it produces better contrast, it hides a higher gain. So, price tag for this screen is going to be around $3,000 or $3,000 or for, let's just say $3,000, break it at $3,000. So that screen costs $3,000. And that is for the size of 106 inches. So 106-inch screen is going to cost you around $3,000. Let's say roughly $3,000. That's what it's going to cost you. Now, say you want to do 120-inch, right? We're just talking about the Elite screen alone. 120-inch of this screen is going to cost you around $5,500. That's what that screen's going to cost you. And keep in mind, this is a screen we were able to take on multiple times. The screen we're able to conquer multiple times. Our technology is far more advanced than the Elite screen Dark Star 9. We can operate in very high wall environments. It also too has that capability, but our screen paint reads a 100% black level, where a $5,000 Elite Dark Star 9 doesn't have that capability. Now, comparing this to a gray screen paint, you couldn't touch it. I've done it already. I've had the sample sheets in. You can't beat that screen. One, ice screen produces a very high contrast level. You don't pick it up as a darker shade of gray. Two, it picks up colors. Calibration that really technically you don't really need to on that screen, not at all. It's a much more superior screen than what you have with the gray paint. So that's why you don't see gray screens doing a lot of demonstrations next to that thing, because that screen would easily take them apart. And I've seen people cheat and do the demonstration, which means that, hold up a minute. Perfect timing, Taco, perfect timing. Wait till I get on camera to do this. Perfect timing. What do you think for the Barry though? But perfect timing. In the middle of my demonstration, start to do your business. Could have done that one when you're roaming around and doing nothing before I got on camera. But anyway, as I said before, if I lost my train of thought, because Tucker's have doing that for me. But anyway, as I said before, no gray screen's going to be able to compete with a certified screen like that caliber. It's not going to happen. And if it were so, you would see a lot of demonstrations of them actually trying to take out the screen. Now, I did see one person try to do it, but again, you can't stick a Darkstar 9 in the same dark environment as the gray screen, because that screen has a 0.8 sitting on top of it, and it has the ability to be able to see in fully lit environments. It has that capability, where gray screen won't be to do that. So roughly, if you want to do 120 inch, this is what it'll cost you. Now with gray screens, for some reason, we don't know why, they have a habit of comparing us to them. We're not you at the end of the day. Literally, we're not you. We've already proved that from the door. You're nowhere near our technology. You don't do anything that we do. You don't do our demonstrations. You give me back my money, which is something you should not be ever do. You should never do that. If you're going to be in a business of home theater and your child, never give them back their money at the end of the day. The reason why people do that, because they can't produce a proper product and they lie on camera and they get caught up in it and then they're busted. Give us back our money. That's crazy. But anyway, so a gray screen, as we said before, can't even compete with us. Heck, they are scared to death to sign a contract. We have a contract for them to sign. They won't sign the contract. I've asked people in multiple different rooms, and they're going to challenge my black technology. They're not doing it. So nothing. We don't get anything back. All right. So that being said, anyway, so truthfully, if you're going to do a professional theater, it's not going to be a gray screen, because Elite Screen has a gray screen, almost the same complexion as one of that, the paint. But if you're talking about top high-end model, you're talking about $3,000, $5,000 screen easily. So now you're about, let's keep it at $3,000. Now you got to get a projector. So a projector, roughly, you're probably going to do about roughly $3,000 for your projector. And if your projector is roughly $2,000, you're still going to be roughly $5,000 in either way. If you do $3,000, then you're going to be around $6,000 in the hole. That's how much money you're going to be paying out. And mind you, with the whole $6,000 setup, you still can't read a contrast level. Not at 100% black. You read a contrast level much better than the gray screen or white screen. Oh, heck yes, yes you will, definitely, on this technology. But you won't read 100% black, which is messed up on the amount of money you're going to spend or shell out for a setup that, again, you'll never see 100% black. Now, mind you, still got to get a stereo system for this whole thing, surround sound system. So surround sound system, roughly maybe $500-$600, way worse than that, way worse than that. Let's say $500. So $500 for a good sound system. So now roughly you're about $6,500 in the hole. Now you got to get movie chairs. If you don't get movie chairs and we're dedicated, you can use your own furniture and your which one. But altogether, you're about $6,500. That's what you just paid out. Now, my customers on the other end, well, they pay about roughly under $500 for our technology. Just say if they're going to do a screen size like one I have over here at 150 inches, which is way bigger than the Darkstar 9 at 120 inches, and they decide to go with this screen right here. I don't know what that cooking sound was. My chair, I take my chair. And they decide to do this massive giant screen we have here. So that means they're going to spend roughly around 200, I think, or 32 ounces, around $288. I think roughly around that price, $288. But their projector, on the other hand, if they want to go high mode, they can go with the Christie LW400. We consider it high mode for our stuff. $50, $60. So we're roughly about, let me see. Oh, it's right in front of me. Diagnostic. Where's that on my phone at? We're roughly I'd say around 300 and probably about $48 right now. So $348. But let's be quite frank on all of the numbers crunched correctly. So let's see, our stuff's going for around $288, 150 inches, and then they're going to pay roughly about, let's say, $70 for a projector. So they're around, yeah, about close to about $258. That's it. $258. I want to put this up on a piece of paper too on top of that while I'm doing this. So you're going to pay for a projector. Sorry, my handwriting's a little crazy. For projector, you're going to pay for projector. It's the pen that don't work. Why do we always have the pen that doesn't work on the table? And the pen that does work, we never have it on the table. I have no understand what to do with it. I'm going to go pick up a Sharpie. I haven't done it. Supposed to pick up a Sharpie a long time ago. Throw that in the trash, please. I'm going to keep bumping into that. So you're talking about a projector. And I know people have high-end setups, and they pay a lot of money. So roughly, your screen, let's say if we go with the 100-inch, you're $3,000 right there from the door. And then if we go with your projector, let's see if we want to do, you can't use ultra short though on that screen, by the way. You have to have a special screen for ultra short though, so ultra short though doesn't work on these. You need another screen, and that screen is a little bit more expensive than this. So roughly, let's say you're going to get a long throw projector. I say roughly, you probably get a good one. Let's see if we can find one for about $3,000. Let me see what we can get for a 4K projector. We want reasonable. We don't want to go high end. All right, so that's the screen. I need a consumer will be shopping. I need a projector. I want 4K because you're going to go high. Because again, the reason why I go to 4K projector, even though you don't need it with our stuff, people think that the more money they spend for their projector, the better it's going to be. So let's go to Amazon and let's go find ourselves a real 4K. These are all fakes. There's a BenQ. BenQ is a 4K laser, so that's about $1,800. You can go with that one. Let me see what we have here. We're not using ultra short though because we can't, because that screen won't accept it. Let me see. All right, we have a ViewSonic PX701. It's 4K. Ooh, that's a good price too. We can get this for around $879. That's not a bad price at all. What else we got on here kicking in? Let me see. There's benefits of having two cell phones. We didn't ask for that. I didn't even click on it. All right, we have an Epson 3SA4. That's a 1080p projector. What's the 1080p projector? It's a little more expensive than a 4K projector. What's the deal with that? We got a ViewSonic PX7. I want to go with the cheapest one because if I'm a customer at the end of the day, I'm looking for the cheapest one. I'm not trying to spend a lot of money. I just spent $3,000 for a screen. So I'm going to go with the, let me see, the ViewSonic. We got a nice ViewSonic. That one's like $2,000 for the Optima. There's $2,000 for that ViewSonic. How much for the other ViewSonic? That's $1,700 for right there. I don't know what the heck is this. Steam or Stream Mastered. That looks disastrous. Let me see. That's $2,000. That's $2,000 for Optima. All right, so Optima is $2,000. So that's roughly better than what they wanted for the rest of them. So let's say we get a projector, Optima projector, 4K. That's about $2,000. So now you're roughly $5,000 in the hole. You gotta get a sound system. So we do need a sound system. I want a I need a sound system. A home theater. Put down home theater. Theater. Sound system. See what it's gonna cost. Ooh, gee, we're having $2,000 for that unit. My goodness, man, that's brutal. All right, 2,000. Let's see, we want a good system. So this ain't bad. 130. This is a Sony Bravo. Ooh. So yeah, roughly, I was right. 500, 600 bucks for bit system. So yeah, sound system. Yeah, $600. $600. So now you're at $5,600. That's going to be your cost. This is what you will pay for a theater system. Not gray paint. No. No. You're going to go for elite screen, high grade technology. You go to any form of these sites, these people have these setups in there. So roughly your cost is going to be roughly $6,000, $7,000. Mind you, that's just for the 100-inch screen. You're paying $3,000. If you want to go out and you want to get a 120-inch, that's going to cost you $5,000. That screen over there is 150 inches. Imagine what that's going to cost you. That over there, it's 235.1. A 235 is a different type of screen, so that's going to cost you a lot of money. If that screen comes in ultra short throw, it's going to cost you even more money. So, our customers at 150 inches for Big Boy over there, it's going to pay around $288. That technology right there can knock out any certified, which means I can make that statement on camera right now as I speak. That technology can knock out any certified. And not one of these certified companies can bring Mr. Bird to court, because even they know that what that technology can do. So we don't have that issue. Now, also too, this can go outside. That will not be going outside. You take that certified screen outside, you're going to have some issues with that thing. They're not meant to be outside. So no outdoor cinema with this. That's gone. This technology also too can be painted to a ceiling for an infinity ceiling for dedicated theater rooms. That's a physical screen. That's not happening. This can also be painted to the floor for visual effects, special projector mapping applications. This one will not have that capability. This one is long throw only. It doesn't work with ultra short throws because they have two different types of screen. They have one for the short throw, ultra short throw, and one for long throw. When you contact them, they'll ask you what type of projector you're using. I'm using a long throw. This is a screen for you. I have an ultra short throw. This is a screen for you. So what's going to happen is this is going to cost you more because it's ultra short throw. This technology is ultra short throw compatible from the door. So guess what? Well, you don't have to worry about that either. So that's more money you're going to save on top of that. This screen is going to require some type of calibration because the colors don't read right due to the fact because it doesn't read 100% black. This one doesn't require it. This one over here at this price cannot pick up 100% pure black, which is a requirement needed for home theater setups. This one picks it up because it is black. This is going to require expensive projector. This doesn't require expensive projector. You see what I'm getting at here? Yeah. All right, so now, my customer's got to pick up a projector. How much money do I spend on my projectors for my demonstrations? Under $200, right? That's a huge freaking saving between $2,000 for a projector and under $200. So, roughly, I'm going to buy a projector for my setup, and what I buy is for my customers. They want to use it inside, outside. Like I said, I like the Christie LW400. So, let's go look one up. See what my customers are going to be paying. Let's go over to eBay. That's where we buy them at. And let's pick up a Christie. This is what I'm doing when I go. My customers don't have projectors. I go in there and I find projectors and stuff for them. So Christie LW400. Now, how good is this projector? Well, it's the same projector I used to take a 150-inch screen and push it through a storefront window. These are the projectors we used. So let's see. Now, the Christie projector, how advanced is it? Well, if you were to buy it brand new, it would cost you that much money. But if you get them used, because it's a top-tier machine, you can get it for much cheaper. Oh, let's see if they put on sale for Christie's on eBay. Yeah, always got some good stuff on here. eBay and stuff. Oh, they got this one with the stand with it. With the stand. $200. Right? I'll pay $200 for it. But it still comes with the stand. It's a good deal. It comes with a brand new lamp and stand. You can't beat that. It's hard to get stands for these things. But not really, to tell you the truth. If I use the universal stand, it still works the same way. All right, let's go visit over here. I still would pick it up for $200. Yeah, because it's in my market. I can't pay over $200. That would still be in my range to be to buy that. But when I'm with my customers, we gotta go cheaper. Now, if they're looking for something with a stand and all that stuff, this would be a perfect person to buy from. Matter of fact, I'm using the LW400 right now. Well, not now. I got some business to take care of. We're going to be using it because this projector is fantastic for using portrait. Using for portrait gaming. Which are fantastic for that. So we got one here for $130. $130. And the lamps are cheap. This is what your lamp will cost you. Right there. That's your lamp. Very cheap. Someone got here one here for 70 bucks. $70. Good deal. Oh, never had that Chrissy before. Got one here for $124.95. Can we go cheaper? Oh, I had this one. This is the Chrissy LW 55. That thing is amazing. Not cheap. 128 bucks. These are short throw, by the way. I used that. This is the same one we use to put up the big 250-inch in the backyard. That's one of the price. That's what I paid for it. For that giant screen, the one you saw with King Kong, that's what we use. That's my projector we use. That's all I paid for it. I told y'all paying too much money at the end of the day. We've been preaching that for the longest time. $76.75. I like that one. I like that one. I like this. I might buy that. This is the one I own right there. I own that projector right there. I didn't get mine for $900. I paid $500 for mine. That's still a good deal. You know, spend that money. Let me see. So let's see roughly where I want to go with. Let me see. We got a good selection here. I'm going to go with the one for 70 bucks. Because, you know, the object is to get my customers a good deal. So I'm going to go with this one right here. It's a Chrissy LW400. This is one I have. And this one, when I told you, it doesn't have the bridge, which means when they don't have bridges connected to them, that means that lens sitting in there is a high performance lens. That's what the bridge means. If there's no bridge in there, that means that's a special type of lens or high performance lenses they put in there. So, high performance lens, win-win, $70. That's $70 for our projector right there. So, $70 for our projector. Boom, boom, boom. So around $358. Now, we want to get a sound system, right? Splurge money for a sound system didn't really make a difference because you got spent for your giant 150-inch screen we have over here, and then your projector cost you 70 bucks. That's 358 bucks compared to the $5,600 someone's about to pay for their setup, and they can't read or do anything that your screen can do. So we can get the same sound system they got over here. If we want, we can just spend $600 for a sound system. It really doesn't make a difference, you know, still under the bar. So that'd be like $958. Or if you want to save some money and just get one for $300, we're at roughly $658. Or if you just want to get one for like $130, because they got some nice ones that are for 130 bucks and save some money. So now you're at roughly around $488. That's it. That's what it costs my customers and people who do business with us. Everybody else costs you a lot of money. Now, for gray screen paint makers, let's add you up real quick. You advise people to spend money for very high and expensive machines because they need to fix your screen's problem. So the fellow who talks a lot of trash on YouTube spent $3,700 for the P2 when it launched, when it came out. He had it when it came out. So that's a $3,700 machine. That literally costs more than the projection screen for an Elite screen at 100 inches. So whatever he puts in this, he's over our mark. Because the projectors cost too much money. Why do they spend so much money for projectors with high contrast and billions of colors? Because the screen can't produce it. That's why every time I see gray or white screens, very expensive projectors over top of them. So say you spend $60, right, for the paint, right? Now you're $3,760 in the hole, right? Right. Now, say you only spend $3,000 for your projector, you're still $3,060 in the hole. Either way, you're still going to have to spend a lot of money because you have to put something back into that screen it can't gain. Unlike the Darkstar 9, they have to spend $3,000 for a projector? Quite frankly, no. But anyone's going to spend $3,000 for a screen, it's definitely going to spend for a 4K projector. It's just going to happen. But in this case right here, with the gray screen, you're going to be required to spend money for a more expensive projector to put in what your screen's going to be missing. The problem is that no matter what projector you choose, you still can't read a contrast, can't pick up color, and you don't operate in fully lit environments. So technically, you're white screen territory. The white screen, on the other hand, it's going to still require expensive projectors, which most people do. They buy high-power projector when they're dealing with white screens. If you look at the demonstration promo with the church, it says, they tell you what type of projector. It's a 7,000 lumen machine. That's a lot of power. And they still couldn't get the screen to read because they felt that all those lights they have in the environment, if we get a projector with a high enough lumen and we're traveling roughly about maybe 15, 16, 20, 30 feet across the room, we're going to have to go through a sacrifice field, which means that your projector, and this is why venues have such high lumens, at roughly around 30,000 or 7,000 lumens, what happens is, and you're traveling from here, and the screen's over here, and you got all this light, including window light popping off in your environment, that means that your 7,000, it's going to slowly start to shrink by the time it gets to the screen. Now, are you going to start off with 7,000 and with 7,000? No projector does that, not even in the dark, because there's even light in the dark. But people are saying there's no light, then what are you living in the middle of a black hole? Because that's the only area that doesn't have light. So you are losing some light. When you turn your lights out, you will notice that your picture quality improves. Why does the picture quality improve when you turn the lights off? There's less light eating away at the lumens, which means you have more lumens making contact with the screen. That's why picture improves when you turn the lights out. We turn lights on, what happens is your lumen count starts to drop. But also, too, the screen is not designed to absorb in light either. So now that plays a factor and not having the ability to be able to pick up an image because it can't absorb light. So that light that strikes the screen washes out even faster. And then what makes it even worse, if you get a projector with a higher caliber lumen count, now whatever crosses the line and does make it there with enough light, chances are it's going to wash your screen out even worse. So now your screen's stressed because now it's dealing with the overhead lighting in the environment plus what the projector is attacking it with at the same time. So the screen's not designed to absorb the light. The poor gain, that's why. So white screens wash out so fast. But anyway, so getting back to the distance throw. So at the distance throw, that means that the more light you have in the environment per square inch, that means the more lumens you're going to need at the end of the day because you're going to go through a sacrifice field, which means your lumen count's going to slowly drop off. Your screen may require maybe about a gain of maybe, let's say, 2,000 to fire. 2,000 to fire. And you have 7,000. So you have to make sure that when that projector fires off, that you have approximately 2,000 to strike that screen in order for it to be readable. Or you're going to have to change your lighting in your environment to make sure that that travel from A to B is successful. That's why people put themselves in what you call an ambient light controlled environment, because in a controlled environment, they can control the lighting, which gives the projector a much better chance for making it to A to B, so the screen fires up. Did they explain any of this stuff to you on their YouTube channel? They didn't, did they? Because they don't know what they're doing. That's why I told you they don't know what they're doing. So anyway, so what we have here with ultra short throws don't have that problem with the distance throw. Ultra short throws already there. Screens here, ultra short throws already there. Long throws way back here. That's why the customer who had an Optima projector with Fernando's paint, his screen disappeared. You know why? Because by the time his lumen count made contact and got these big windows sitting here, it destroyed it. And the screen did not have the ability to be able to be ambient light rejection, which means the gain was extremely poor on the screen under 2.0. And on top of that, this screen has a hard time picking up contrast level, which triggers off a domino effect for the screen, which means if you can't read the contrast, darker screens absorb better, lighter screens don't. That's why white screens are considered cheaper screens, because they don't absorb as much as darker screens. So that means that screen's going to wash out 10 times faster than the average screen. So it has that strike against it already from the door. The darker environment, the better chance the screen has it operating. That's why when the customer basically shut the windows and darkened the environment, the screen picked up. Not good, but it still picked up better than having the lights on. So his slide, he had a long throw. But in Jamie's demonstrations, he uses ultra short throws, which means he cheats. Because what happens is distance throw is no longer there. It's not even a factor because you're sitting right up on top of the screen. When your distance throw is a foot away from the screen at 3,000 lumens, and he can be 3,000 lumens at 16 feet. Imagine what's going to happen to that image when it goes. It's going to diminish. Now, if he has the lights out, he has a much better chance of picking up the image. But if he has the lights on or a window in that environment, that may disrupt the environment, may disrupt the lumen count in the screen, ain't nothing going to really pick up. See, that's what I understand, that gentlemen and people in the day, projection screen paint is more than just mixing some paints together. You have to understand the mathematical, physics of it all. There's physics involved in projection screen setups. But you don't understand that. Some of you don't even know math to begin with. Not saying customers, but people I've actually met or people I know at the end of the day that call themselves being in the business don't even know the proper measurement of a screen. You should know this. Anyway, ain't that dumb Partay's philosophy, dumb nonsense. Guys writing stuff on paper, you can't even explain to me what gain range is. Please tell me what that is. Can't tell me, right? All right, whatever. Bogus. Anyway, so that's how it all works from there. So I've done demonstrations on this. I've taken a projector long thrown, put it all the way in the back, and took an ultra short and put it up in the front, and showed you there's a difference between the two on a gray screen. When it fires off, that the screen, the closer your projector is, the better chance you have of picking up an image compared to a projector sitting farther back. I actually did that theory live. Anybody want to challenge me on court on that one? I don't think you are. All right, then let's move on. Anyway, so as you can see, yeah, so he has an ultra short throw. So his distance throw is a foot. Now, a foot at 3,000 lumens is a lot of power to strike a screen. Mind you, ultra short throw projectors don't require 5,000, they don't require 6,000, none of that. If you look at the very early models of ultra short throws, you would notice that they didn't even have this lumen count at all. The Sony Bravos were somewhere around 900 lumens. That's what they were. 1,000 lumens, 800 lumens. Why? Why would you need 3,000 lumens if you're a foot away from a screen? That's like someone taking a spotlight, stick it in your face. You don't need to be that close to see me. You can literally see me from across the street. So that's not even necessary if you're that close. 3,000 lumens is never should be used on your screen. You're literally washing your screen out because your lumen count is sitting right on top of the screen. Now, mind you, what's also too curious about an ultra short throw setup, which I find also funny and also too hilarious at the same time, is the fact that all these influencers on YouTube that are showing off these high-end ultra short throw projectors, you're a foot away from a screen, right? A foot at roughly 3,000 lumens. Some of you 4,000 lumens, some of you 5,000 lumens. Why do you have your lights on? Why? You're 3,000, 4,000, and 5,000 away from a screen. Why are your lights out? Your lights are out because the screen can't see contrast. If the lights are on, we saw that in demonstrations, it doesn't pick up, and the color fades. Now, if the color fades and the contrast fades because the light's on, that means that the projector sitting at 3,000 lumens at a foot doesn't mean jack when it comes to distance throw. Therefore, because the screen can't pick up the color, so it makes no difference how close you are to it, it can't read it. So that means that your screen is the problem. You got to fix that right there. Now, with me, I can take an Optima GT 5500 outside, and that's a lot more lighting than you have inside. And I can do that at 457. We did it at 457. Pick up my contrast, pick up my colors, pick up everything with no problem. Works perfectly fine on mine. My projector today is going to have this lamp in it. It's going to run in here with no problem. Gray screen won't be to read on that projector. White screen won't pick up. So what are we talking about here? It's cost the customer more money. So the customer thinks in the day, if I spend more money for a projector, this will fix it. If I have a gray screen, the resolution, it's going to drop by a lot. Know why? Because you need detail. Contrast is more than just black loads. It gives you detail, depth to the image. It gives you more, it's just sharpening, gives you a sharper picture because of that contrast. So you're going to pick up a projector that's 4K. That's going to give you higher resolution to make up for what screen's going to be having poor resolution issues from the 4K. It's going to be distorted and all types of problems are going to pop up. So sharpen that image. You're going to go 4K. That's going to cost you some money. And then the sad thing about it is once you pay for all this stuff, you still got to calibrate because your colors are thrown completely off because the screen can't read it correctly, as we showed you at 300 lumens at 10,000 to 1. So that's just some of the nightmares you're going to go through after you put your whole package together. Now, our customers, this is what they do. They buy projector, right? They buy our screen paint, they get their speaker system, right? And they set it up, paint it in, right? Paint your screen in, done, right? Set projector up, done. That's it. They're done. And we'll put their sound system in, speakers here, speaker there, soundboard there, right? They're done. Are they calibrating? No. Are they stuck in dark environments? No. Are they reading 100% contrast? Yes. Are their colors correct? Yes. Can they go outside? Let's bring this back. Big screen, expensive lead screen right here, and me. All right, so pros and cons. Easy to set up. For us, yes. For them, maybe. I've actually set their screens up before. Their fixed frames are very easy to do, but actually when you're talking about just painting something directly to a wall and you're done, you're finished, it's much faster that way. Convenience, or paints give you more convenience at the end of the day because you can apply it to any surface you want. Or fixed frame screens like this, if you get it in a different type of frame, motorized screen, this is all going to cost you a lot of money. Motorized is going to cost you far worse than $3,000. Are we going outside with this? Well, for us, our customers would be yes, and the other screen would be no. You're not taking that outside. They're not designed for outside. Are we ultra short though compatible? Yes, we are ultra short though compatible. Are they? No, you need a special screen for ultra short though for theirs. Does ours require high-end projectors? No, we don't require that at all, period. So, bottom line is we put down no here, but yes, they would need that right there. I've never seen one of these screens operate on a projector like mine. So in the demonstration, if they're using a high-end projector, that's what you're going to pay. Like Fernando, in his demonstrations, he uses the P2 projector, right? So that means that in order for you to get the same picture quality or higher, unless you can show two projectors side by side, like we've done in our demonstrations multiple times. We've done 720p versus 4K. You can't tell one from the other. We've done 5,000 versus 1,000 lumens. You can't tell from the other. Unless you can show that comparison, you really can't say that the projector you have in your environment will operate the same as somebody else, which we saw that already with the customer who had an optimal projector and a very good one. His screen completely washed out compared to Fernando, who had a ultra short throw. His screen didn't, but he was in a darker environment. Smoke and mirrors, people. So, yeah, their projectors are going to have to be different. And this involves a gray screen, too, on top of that. But we'll go pros and cons with gray screen versus certified and us. All right, so what about, okay, you're doing a dedicated theater room. You want to do your ceiling and you want to do your screen. Now, say you're spending $20,000. That's somebody rip out your ceiling and put the star ceiling in, right? You can paint ours in because we do ceiling projection technology because you've seen the demonstration. So can we do ceilings? Yes. Can they do ceilings? No. Good luck sticking that screen up there. Can you do a floor projection? When we do that, that would be yes for us. That would be no for them. What else do we got in the day? Calibrating. Yes, to calibrate for them. No would be for us. 100% contrast. No. Yes, for us. Now, perfect coloring. Maybe we need from the door. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go with environment. Ambient light controlled environment. Do we require it? No. Do they require it? Yes. You know why the certified screen requires an ambient light controlled environment? It doesn't read 100% black. To improve its back levels, it would have to be in a controlled environment. It wouldn't be to do it in our environment, especially next to one of those. It wouldn't be to pick up. So, and also too, cost-wise, ours, yes, very affordable. Theirs, no, not going to happen. More yeses on our side, more no's on theirs. All right, let's go over here and let's talk about the value of a gray screen versus us. So we have a gray screen. Now, like I said, don't cry on your YouTube channel, sign contract, see me in court. That's all you got to do. All right. For those who don't know that, that's our contract. We've been preaching that to gray screen to go to your form sites all the time. Same thing. Nobody wants to sign. You're literally going to make me set up an AVS forms or a little site on there saying, sign our contract. See how many people go in there and sign. No, they're not going to sign. Their stuff don't work. All right, we got gray screen. Gray screen at the end of the day here. And then we have, we do that demonstration. Got 200 lumens right over there. I can pop that off right now. And we have me. All right, so let's start with contrast. Do you see 100% contrast? No. Do we see it? Yes. Do you read colors without calibrating the machine? You can pick up the dark levels of colors, which dark blues, greens, reds, it's all part of the whole group, right? Yours is no. And you do require calibration, which is yes. We, in calibration, no. We can pick up, yes, the dark colors, and we can pick up, yes, the light colors. Can we see white levels? Yeah, sure we can. Yes. This, for those of you who have made demonstrations about our products, don't worry about trying to get rid of your video. We got a copy of it already. And said that my product came out so dark, it was unwatchable. You owe me $1 million. So you know that. That's what we're suing you for when we get to court, $1 million. So good luck with that one. Don't get mad about it. Next time you go on your YouTube channel, keep your mouth shut. Don't say things you can't back up. And maybe somebody won't be dragged into a courtroom and cleaning your clock, financially putting you broke on the street. Because you are going to be homeless when we get done with you. Do know that, right? My lawyers are going to rip you apart. So you know that, right from the door, what's going to happen to you. Like I said, if you felt this was defamation, I was lying, you would have an attorney by now. Since you don't, da-de-da. All right, let's see. Outside. Heck no. You don't even pick up outside. You can't pick up inside. What means you're going to pick up outside? So outside for you is no. Outside for us would be yes, because we've done this dozens of times outside. Do we require expensive projectors? No. Our machines are at $200. So that would be no. You, on the other hand, yes, it would cost you because you spend money. The people who basically says they're saving you money, they can't save money themselves. They're forced to buy projectors. Dark environments. You know where we're going with this, right? You can't operate in fully lit environments, not even in commercial. Let's break it down into what different environments. So home environment, no, you can't pick up. Weekend, yes. Commercial, no. Weekend, yes. Now, for some people saying, well, I can see my screen. You can see your screen, but your screen's off balance because it can't read the contrast levels, it can't read color. If I put your screen, now you're on a standalone. When you're on a standalone, you can't tell one from the other. That's like saying you got the fastest car in the world. How do you know you have the fastest car in the world? Have you raced against other cars? Can you show multiple race circuits where you went and challenged other cars in other countries? No, it's just you just saying that. So how would you know you have the fastest car if you haven't raced against other cars? You don't know that. Now, we know our technology is better than everybody else. Why? We did all that testing. We went out and bought screens and bought them in from here or there. We bought screens from overseas. We know this 100%, but you don't know this. So with that being said, your screen doesn't do what it's claiming to do because you're on a standalone. You're watching it by itself. So if I were to take your gray screen and I stick it against that technology, I bet you $100 as the nose is on my face, your contrast level that you thought you were reading on your screen doesn't work anymore. I bet you your color levels don't even pick up anymore. I bet you in the environment that screen can sit in with an ambient light rejection technology embedded into it, you don't even pick up correctly. You can wash your screen out. How much you want to bet on that one? Anybody want to sign a contract and walk me in court on that one for $1 million? Anybody? No, of course not. You already know the deal on that one. So it'd be no from the door. They'd be in there. The gray screen paint makers are so desperate. Like, no, it works, it works. Do you have ambient light rejection technology? No, you do not have that. We have it. Yes. Do you have a 2.0 gain? No, you don't have a 2.0 gain. You have a 2.0 gain. You spend a lot of time in the dark with a 2.0 gain. It doesn't make any sense. Why are you in such a dark environment? Oh, because your contrast and white levels and color levels wash out. Do you work with projector mapping applications? No, we have that technology here, so no, you don't work with that because you can't read the black levels. We pick it up, yes. How about, are you good for visual effects screens? Now, visual effects screens require a lot of black. DJs use them all the time. No, you don't work with that. That's not going to work for you. For us, yes, we do work with that with no problem. What about for dedicated theater rooms? No. Again, you have to read 100% contrast. Darth Vader pops up with his armor, dogfight in outer space. How am I reading it? What shade am I picking up? No, I'm not picking up 100% black. So that's a no. For us, yes. So this is just, there's nothing we can do with your stuff. You don't have that at all, period. Now, would yours be cheaper than ours? Yes, it would be. Because you know why? You get what you pay for. And ours would be more expensive because ours can do so much more that you can't even do. Now, any gray screen got a problem with that? I got a little message for it in the day. If you feel in any way whatsoever what I say here, get a lawyer, take me to court. You can't do it. Let me tell you something, people. I've gone into forum sites and challenged entire forum sites, the entire list, all of them, every single one of them in there. Show me where your screen can be superior to ours. Show me your contrast level. It can be colors, it can be fully lit environments. Show me all of it. You can't do it because your stuff does not work. Y'all guys are the biggest liars on the face of the planet. You're the biggest liars in the projector community because for some reason you've got this hope and a prayer that you think at the end of the day is your can compete with the certifieds, which we know you can't, or you can compete with us, which we definitely know you can't. The only edge you have is a white screen. But let's say pros and cons against a gray screen versus a white screen. I'm going to take your screen paint and I'm going to paint on a middle of a white screen to see how much we get out of you. Now, contrast. Are we reading 100% black? Because that's what you're going to need. No. And on the white screen, no. You pick up a little shade of contrast more than the white screen because your screen is darker. So you would have a shade of gray. This is what of gray. Right there. My handwriting's crazy. I'm just breathing and everything. So you pick up a shade of gray. That's all. That's why you come up a little darker than this one, because this one doesn't. Well, which one picks up the highest white level? That'd be the white screen, right? Yes. White screen pick up. No, yours would drop because of the sacrifice seal. So if you got on camera and you lied and said you picked up a white level like a white screen, you lied. It's a lethal lawsuit. Because again, why is it a lawsuit? Because if you told your customers and you sold your product based on that lie, it's considered consumer fraud right from the door. So yeah, he can sue you for that. Let me see. Now, do you require high projectors to work? Yes, both y'all do require that. Because, detail and all that's thrown off because you don't have 100% contrast. Do you need to be in dark or ambient controlled environments? Yes, both of you require that. They definitely both require that because you can't operate in fully lit environments. Do you possess a 2.0 gain? No, you don't have it, and they don't have it either. You don't have that. If you had a 2.0 gain, mind you, Black Diamonds have 1.4. So you don't have it. All right. Let me see. 720p projectors. Do they work? No. 720p projectors don't work technically on those screens because, again, they require much higher mode projectors to make the screen work. So that would be no for you and no for you. That's why when you look at white screens, you notice if you go to any place you'll see a white screen, you will see some massive, high-powered, giant, bulky projector up there like churches and stuff. You will see them up there because they're going to go with the most highest efficient projector they can because they're dealing with the white screen. Now, from here, let me see. What about... Do we do calibrating? Let's put calibrating up there. Both of you require calibrating, so that is a yes for both of you. Do need calibrating. Do you see the darker colors in the color wheel? No. That'd be no for you. That'd be no for the white screen. What is the benefit of a gray screen and a white screen? I watch those demonstrations. People turn lights out. So if you had to turn out lights to show the benefit of your gray screen versus a white screen, that means you failed. So that'd be you, and it'd be fail on the side because, again, white screen's got to be in the dark either way because it doesn't work with the lights on, and your product's supposed to show the benefits of it, which means it should be to operate in a fully lit environment, which you can't. We were able to do that with our product. We've never turned out lights in demonstrations under digital one crystal screen paint. Do you require expensive projectors? Yes. I hope I'm not repeating things twice, but yes, you do both require that. Can you work on ceiling projection visual effects? No. And no. Floor projection? No. And no. Projector mapping applications? No. And no. Are you good for acoustic screens? No. Still got to read contrast. Remember that. No. Dedicated theater rooms? No. And no. Because you need 100% black. Got to pick that black up right there. That's needed. What about for gaming applications? No. And no. Movies? No. And no. Now, if you sit there and say we work with movies, how would that work? You want to go to court on that one? Oh, please do. Say yes. I would ask you today in a court of law, Darth Vader. To get a picture of Darth Vader, bring him up on the screen. What color is that armor? Is it black or gray? Which one is it? It's black, right? All right, then. So, if I'm buying a product from you, are you guaranteeing that that armor is going to come up with 100% black in that dedicated theater room? What did I just buy from you? Did I buy a 100% black? Did you tell me it's 100% black? What did you tell me? Now, what are you going to say? You're in a courtroom, mind. Your hands on that Bible. You under oath. Don't get perjury up in there, right? What are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me that you technically don't pick up black. You pick up a shade of gray because that's what you are reading. Now, I'm going to ask you, what type of gray am I reading? What shade of gray are we reading? Is it going to be a mid-gray? Is it going to be a light gray? Is it going to be a dark gray? What are we reading? What can you tell me what we're reading? It's not my job to tell you what you're reading. It's your job to tell me. It's your stuff. Tell me, what am I reading? What shade am I picking up from here? So if you say, I don't know, then that means that you sold me a product based on a lie because you told me it was going to pick up a black level when technically it didn't pick up a black level, and you don't even know what shade of gray it picks up. So that means you don't even know your own product. If you don't know your own product, I got you on consumer fraud that fast. That's how fast, people, we can get you in the courtroom. We can jack you up in there. You ready for those type of questions? You stumble over your own words. Your lawyer put his head down like, he's screwed. You won't mess him up on that chair. He's going to mess you up. So we get you on those black levels alone, you're done. All right. Could be worse. We could sit there and say, what's the difference between your product and house paint? Which again, let's bring it up. So what is the difference between your product versus everyday black paint? Do you have tests on this? No, you don't. White screen's going to match anything white. So, no point. That's what they do either way. The whole object is upgrade the white screen to make it better. How are you making it better? You can't make it better because you don't even know. You can match Home Depot, any paint. We watch somebody actually do it. As a matter of fact, when we go to court, even though that trial has nothing to do with him, we're using him as an example on why these laws must be in place and why we had somebody on YouTube do this twice and still sell the product. That's why it's an urgent that these tests be put in place to keep people from committing this type of fraud. We're using his videos to actually push a piece of document to get it made so you have to have this test in order to sell any type of paint. Good luck with that one. You should have done that a long time ago before you sold the product. So, no, there's no proof. You can't have no proof on that at all, period. All right. That's pretty much it. There's not much you can do. Now, I can't use your stuff in commercial. I can't use it inside. I can't use it outside. All my projectors are completely useless because I want you to pick up contrast. I want you to pick up 100% color. It's not going to pick up on that at all whatsoever. And next to the art, say you have the black screen, it's us. Do you pick up 100% contrast next to us? No. White screen picks up 100% white. Do you pick up a white screen, a white color, neutral color next to white screen? No. This is gray screen right here. Let's see what you compare between the two. Now, do you pick up at the end of the day, a white man, what about your color levels? Well, your color levels compared to us, we can't compete with some color. So we can beat you in color levels on any day of the week. That's not a problem. White screen, you come up a little better than the white screen. So that is definitely a yes for you. You do come up a little better than the white screen. But the problem is that white screen has to be in the dark in order to produce those colors, and so do you. So as in your 2.0 gain, you don't have it. So all in all, bottom line is you end up costing the customer more money. and more headaches. Because now, not only when they buy your product, they're going to have to darken their environment. They got to go through figure out calibrating because nothing's going to work in that projector on that gray paint at all whatsoever. They're going to have to buy projectors with very high inky capability, which gets expensive with higher contrast because your black levels are lacking. It's just a headache. You cost too much money. Even though you said in the day we're cheaper because we're 60 and 90 bucks, the machines it takes in order to get your paint to operate are expensive. They cost the customer more money. The more money the customer puts into the projector, the better chance they have of picking up a better image. And all that, they're still stuck in the dark, no matter what they choose. I've hit gray screens with 7,000 lumen Christies, and it won't pick up on it. I've taken a 5,000 lumen and stuck it right up on top of the screen, and it still couldn't read the color. So that means it doesn't make a difference if you buy money for a high-end projector, you still can't pick it up. Mind you, just watch that guy painting a church screen. And those projectors in that church were huge. They were huge. Because literally, if you could sit there by the top of the ceilings, and you could sit there in a chair, and you can look up, and you can see that the chassis, you can make it out like by sizing it up, that it's pretty much bigger than say a 40-inch TV. That's a big machine sitting up there. When you go to climb up on a ladder, you see how big they are. That thing is huge, them projectors. For the distance they have in there, that would be the type of projector they would sell them for that type of setup. That projector is massive. So, with that being said, that's roughly probably a 10,000 lumen machine. And at 10,000, striking that white screen, because they're going to be up there. They're always massive lumen projector. You go to any setup, you go anywhere. Look up at the projector. Look at the size of it. The only time you'll see a projector that big, unless you go to something like, like a restaurant or something, they're going to have it way up. It'll be like a regular projector most likely, but they'll be using short throws in those because they'll be closer to the screen. That's why. But as in, you're going to museums, I go to a museum, I'll pop and show you the setup they have in there. It's a massive NEC, and that thing is huge. Yep. It's an 8,000 lumen projector that's sitting up there. So they're going to use giant projectors up there. And he literally sat there and said, we all heard it, he said, it'll look better once we calibrate it. But we're in a dark environment. It's so dark in there that the fire exits are basically out. They're dark in there. You see the lights on the fire exits, but it's still dark in there. No church ain't that dark at the end of the day. Not even when they're cleaning, it's not that dark. So he had the lights out. Why did you have the lights out to begin with? That's the question I had. If you're painting in someone's environment, why would you turn out the lights to paint the screen in? Shouldn't you be showing off the demonstration fully lit? Because you can't show it off fully lit because the screen won't read. So that's why he sat there and said, in the dark, it'll look better once we calibrate it. Yeah. So not good for commercial at all, period. When I did the demonstration in the carrying place, we did screens throughout the whole place, even outside on the glass. We were inside the entire building. We did every single room in that building, including outside through sunlight in the glass. Did you ever once see me in there with a high power, expensive machine? No. Did you once ever see me in there turn out any lights in the environment? No. Unless it was requested, we did. But most of it's in a fully lit environment. Because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the problem they already have. They're already in the dark. If I got a bar and I'm in the dark with my bar, with my whole projection setup, and you tell me you can give me something better, and I go to your establishment and we're still in the dark, that doesn't sound like you're selling me anything I need. That's the problem I have. I'm in the dark. I'm trying to get this thing to fire up in a fully lit environment. I don't want my bar looking like it's dark. And you can't help me with that because you just sat there and told me that it'll look better once we calibrate and we're already in the dark. So that's why if you look at the preacher was on stage and you read his body language, he wasn't happy. He was pacing back and forth. He was pacing back and forth. He was looking at your screen that was on the dark side of the church because there was no lights on that side. And he was on stage, but there were lights. So he's thinking in the back of his head that, all right, it's dark over here where his screen is at. And it's a light over here, of course, because you can see him crystal clear on the stage walking back and forth. If this screen is showing a somewhat improvement over this one here, and this is a little improvement, what it's showing, and this is in the dark and this light on, what happens if we turn the lights on this side? How much of the improvement is this still going to be to show? And then you're in the dark and you're going to say, it's going to look better once we calibrate it. So you mean to tell me you're in the dark and this thing still looks bad and I still have to calibrate it? Yeah, we got problems at the end of the day. He's a very nice man because I'd have came off that stage and talked to you like, look, my man, here's the deal. I'm a busy man. I'm pretty sure he's a very busy man. Preachers are very busy. I took the time to come over here, bring you down here, pay the money for this product, and you're going to tell me that it'll look better once we calibrate it? Are you kidding me? Your screen's literally sitting in the dark. My screen's on the stage with all this light on it. What do you mean it'll look better once we calibrate it? It doesn't make any sense. If your screen's looking that bad with the lights off, what's going to happen when he turns them on? There you go. Because he been to this mumbo jumbo. He went to the mumbo jumbo when he bought the whole package when they set him up with the white projection screen. He been to that crap already. I guarantee somebody came in professionally and calibrated that whole machine for that whole setup. So he been to this already. So yeah, that's why you notice he wasn't saying much. If you read his body language, he wasn't saying much. He was just pacing back and forth. He was not happy with what he had. If you go back and you watch the demonstrations on that church, they do broadcasts, you notice the screens are different. He changed it out. He got something else. It's like a certified screen up there. And it's doing its job. It just don't read that black level. Mind you, for people who have churches at the end of the day, you should never, ever, ever go with the gray screen. Why? I got a Bible here. I always have a Bible. It's my Bible. Let's go get my Bible. We all know this, but sometimes naysayers, we have to give them an understanding. Now, what color is the writing in my Bible? It's black, right? So how are you going to read this on a gray screen? Right? It's black. Are you going to read on a gray screen? And if you can't read black, that means your color is also too washed out, especially red. Red washes out all the time. And red is in the Bible. So you don't read either one of these colors. You don't read red and you don't read black because your colors are thrown off. And that's why you require, when you go near churches, you require much high-end, expensive projectors to try to sharpen, detail, add higher res to it so you can see this because you can't see it. On a black technology, not only can we read the high white levels, but we can pick up a 100% black. Because you know why? On my screens, what I have for my YouTube channel, Facebook and other channel, I have the midnight setting. In the midnight setting, my page automatically comes up black, but my letters come up white. So I can read the writing crystal clear, pulling up white. You see what I mean by that? So that means that when I read something through my my email accounts, whatever, those letters come up in white. If the screen came up too dark, you wouldn't be able to read the letters. You can't do that because you can't read the black. That's why we never see you in night mode, because you can't do that. Now, if I wanted to switch out of night mode and put it the other way around, I can pick up the white levels in contrast at the same time. Do you know why? Simple. Because if my screen's in midnight mode and the letters have to come up in white for you to see the screen, and you can see that crystal clear for where I'm sitting at my desk, then that means that our white levels have to be extremely high for you to be able to read that. And if we switch over and we pick up the same white levels you're able to read through the text, except for being opposite against being the main screen, we can pick up 100% contrast. That's why we have something called transition, which means when we show the Sony demonstration, we can show those bright, beautiful white levels and light blues and then transition to ultra black and maintain with no problem where your screen basically falls apart. And then we transfer over to colors where you fall apart again. So technically, gray and white screens are not supposed to be used in churches. You don't read, don't pick up. That's why. Anyone willing to challenge my theory on that one in court? Anybody? Of course not. You're not willing to challenge my theory because you know I'm right. That's why. So, long story short, the reason why we do this, because customer is getting ripped off. Customer is getting robbed. That's why. Customers being told a whole bunch of lies. Customers being told they're going to read contrast, they're going to read color, they're going to have a 2.0 gain, they're going to read in fully lit environments. Customers got lied. I see customers all day long in forum sites upset and angry because they're trying to figure out how to get that picture quality to look great. And those are using high-powered machines in your demonstrations, and you're basically manipulating the environment to make the screen do something that the customer's not going to be able to do once they get home, he or her, then that's even worse. Those of you who have gray screens claiming to have ambient light rejection technology, but yet you spend a lot of your time in the dark in your demonstrations because your ambient light rejection doesn't work on a gray screen, as we all know, you lied to them also. So customers and all this mess are the ones getting ripped off. So my job at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, when it comes to these people who make these products, is to make sure the customers get what they paid for. That's why I have that contract there. Because if you even dare open your mouth about my company and say, hey, at the end of the day, he's using such and so, my lawyers will challenge you in court. I will challenge you in court on everything my technology does. And I guarantee you 100% as a no sits on your face, you will lose that case. I guarantee you. So not only are we here at the end of the day to make sure that customers get exactly what they pay for and they get the best screen they possibly can get, judging if you look at my customers versus theirs and everybody else, I said before and I'll say it again, my customers' demonstrations are better than those who even sell paint today. And those demonstrations are old, by the way. And our demonstrations still stand better than those who sell. So customers have a right to get what they pay for. They don't have to go through that dumb smoke and mirror and freaking obstacle course of basically being told you have to spend more money for projectors. There's nowhere in the world they should be spending $6,500 or even anywhere close to $3,000, $4,000 for a setup. They should not be forced to buy. You're forced to buy 4K because you need it. You're forced to be in a dark environment because you need it. You're forced to calibrate because you need it. You're forced to buy inky, overpriced projectors because it's needed. What if they don't have that type of money? Then what? Oh, then they just have to go with the dollar, whatever package. That's what they have to get. And they just have to deal with that. That's how it has to be, right? Not under our standards, you don't have to. So that's why, at the end of the day, it's not the customer who's upset with our theory. It's the people who make the product who's upset. Well, I got a little message for you at the end of the day. We're not going anywhere. And my goal is one goal, and I'll focus on what I want to do at the end of the day. And you're not breaking that focus. My focus is to make sure my customers get the best screen so we can possibly get them. And any person on the face of this planet wishes to challenge us, bring it. We have no problem with you. I'll see you in court. And when I launch that new technology over the screen that actually reads outside, it is the end of you. Do you understand me? That screen will be engineered and designed to change the face of home theater projection. But not only that, make it so customers can have the best screen, companies can have the best screen without it cost them tons of money and no expensive projectors required. So, what do you think about that? Now, if you want to call my bluff at the end of the day, yeah, contact Fernando. We crushed his company completely. Roger crushed your company. Heck, I can even go back to my digital eras. I've crushed everybody in every forum site that I've actually challenged. I've even had people give me back my money. They're scared of us. So, for you big companies out there at the end of the day, we're not the ones to play with. We're going to come out here. We're going to do what we're designed to do. Make sure the customer gets a proper screen and what they need. Like I said, there's no way in the world family should be paying that type of money for a setup. That's ridiculous. And they cost so much money. Are you kidding me? And my customers can do that for far cheaper than that. Now, that's basically about it. And keep in mind, we're not just with that technology or any of the technology engineer, we're not happy with just being on the wall. My technology is designed right here, we have right there, to give the customer 10 times more options than what you could never, ever give them. And then once the new technology comes out, well, that's the end of it. I'm pretty sure there's going to be companies taking us to court for that thing. Why not? They probably are. But there's nothing you can do about it. You know why? You know who actually is in charge of my company? God. You know where all the technology came from? God. So you have to deal with him first. And last I heard, I've never met a man that could beat God. Never met one before. Not one. Give me this for a minute. You know me, at the end of the day, I like to back things up. You know how we do. Talk is cheap, as people say. I'm not one for cheap talk. Let's have a little fun before we go. Let me see. Where do you want to start with first? I'm going to get the 300 lumen projector. Let's get that. We don't need anything high power. We need a high power projector for. Let's get the CUNY out here. All right. We've got our screen paint. Just a K. That's all we need to show how amazing it is next to a white screen. We'll get that right there. And we have gray screen. Now, I know I got some people out there saying that my gray screen would never match that. It will, trust me. I tested your stuff off camera. I know. I know so much about your product, you wouldn't even know exactly how much we know. All that stuff I collected down through time, and you think I haven't done testing on your stuff? I ran all types of tests. I know so much about your stuff that you don't even know. You know why? You haven't done the testing, and the testing's not on YouTube, which means you didn't do it. We did it for you. So I know so much about your stuff. Let me see. We need something there. Who are you gonna get the finance, Daddy-O? I'm gonna use this right here. Apple Yo. Taco Yo and Daddy-O. That'd make a great cartoon. All right, so basic. White screen, right? No, nothing special, just got 10K. Oops, my fault. That's me kicking over stuff with my giant Gear Towards boots. That's all we have to do is paint my initial, Kenneth, in there. That's my initial, Kenneth, Kenny, or people call me Ken. They have a whole bunch of names for me. That's all we got to do is paint there. Let's turn our projector on with 300 lumens, 10,001 contrast. That's it. This is all the lighting we have. That's all we have right there. It's that little slither of light, that's all. I like that song by Billy Joe, Honesty. Now, remember I told you about the whole thing about the white letters and stuff like that? We can read it on our screen with no problem. Because the technology we have here at 300 lumens, a 720p projector can pick up a white level with no problem. Which means if you can pick up a white level that high, if we were to reverse it and make it where the background's white and the letters come up black, we read 100% black also. Y'all can't even pick that up. Let's go with the simple halo loops. Perfect example. See? So we can pick up the nice, beautiful, vivid, bright colors at the same time with 100% contrast intact. That means the customer doesn't have to spend the money for expensive high-end projector. Not needed. Why would you go and spend all this money for high contrast machine? Not even necessary. All right, now let's switch over to gray, because gray is supposed to give you a better option, right? Just put the gray up there. And as you see, gray screen can't pick up contrast either. Contrast is very important. So how are we going to ignore this? This display that the projector is putting out requires 100% black and vivid bright colors at the exact same time. So how do you sell this to a customer? This is my company. I work with visual effects, DJ company for visual effects. I need a screen that's going to pick up 100% black. How do you sell it to me? How do you convince me that my little projector here, my 10,001 projector I use for my DJ parties, how do you convince me I'm going to read 100% black off your product? You can't. All right, so if I want to watch a movie or a movie setup, how do you convince me that the black levels I watch in the movie are going to be 100% black? Can you give me that? Can't. All right, you got a gaming studio, doing Call of Duty, some night missions. Am I getting 100% black? Well, let me know. Projector mapping applications. You ever seen domes? Well, guess how they put a screen up and star system into that dome? You can't use a projector. You know why? Because the projector gets up a square image. The dome is round. You have to map that in there. So the mapping equipment we need to pick up 100% black for the solar system. Can you give me that? No, because they can't read it. So you got problems there. So in order to try to fix that or improve it, they're going to advise you to spend more money for your projector, which is going to cost you more money. It's like the scenario of saying that if you get a house for like $10, but you find out to fix it up, it's going to cost you $1 million. Does it sound like you got a fair deal? It doesn't. That's pretty much what they do to you when you buy these products. They'll tell you the product saving you hundreds, saving you hundreds, saving you hundreds, when all while you'll have to spend more money, go through more complications, more loops, more obstacle courses to get it to work. And at that point, you're just burnt out. You're tired of it. Beta fish, black background. You heard me. Beta fish, black background. It's one of my favorites to do. Why? You got beautiful colors. You have 100%. Now, if you look this up on your cell phone, you will see that you're supposed to have a black background with beta fish, right? That's what you should be picking up. So gray screen. If you're telling me at the end of the day that I'm picking up 100% black, then how come it's not matching my cell phone? Beta fish, black background. No. Really? Did I just go back and get another commercial? On top of the commercial I just went through and watched this? YouTube, y'all do too much. Get off of that nonsense. You see that? It's supposed to look exactly the same way on my phone. How come the gray screen doesn't look like my phone? You know this phone has an OLED screen on it, you know that, right? So how come it doesn't look the same as my phone? Actually, my screen, by the way. Do you see at the end of the day what I mean by at the end of the day how easy we can get you in a courtroom? It's very easy to take you guys apart in courtrooms, especially gray screen. Very easy. If you're sitting there telling me that you're reading a black level, that means you should be reading the same level my cell phone is giving off. So if you're not picking up the same thing my cell phone's picking up, what did you just sell me? And the bigger question is, how much of this stuff did you sell on the same thing you sold me? This is where it becomes federal. This is why we bring this to federal court. This is why we file consumer fraud charges against you. Now you're looking at some very serious time. That quick. It can go from a visit to a courtroom to ending up in federal bump to federal court. Because now we have enough evidence. Even the judge witnessed it. We got enough evidence to bump you up to another trial. So tell me, how come it doesn't look the same way as my phone? Mine, this is Fernando's paint, by the way. This is a paint that he used on a P2 projector to manipulate and to fool his customers to make them believing that they were getting this heavy black level. The screen paint can pull a heavy black level. And then on top of that, trying to challenge my company to say that you were the same as me. So what the freak just happened here? How come we're not getting the same? What's the contrast level? Because that's the video right there. It's on my phone. We're reading black. There's black right there. How come there's no black on your screen? How come your screen's not picking up any black? Let me tell you how, for you people who make these products at the end of the day, and you lie to these customers, this alone will crush you in a courtroom. If we do this to you in a courtroom, it's over. We take a product or sample your product, we put it in the middle of that, and it doesn't react the way it's supposed to. As you lie, so you bring this contrast level up, your business is over. You better fix those specification sheets. You better send some money. People, if you got a gray screen, and you have a gray screen, and any one of these companies told you that you're reading this 100% black level, go get your money back. Because, again, no gray screen is going to be able to pick up that level. This is an OLED screen on this phone, by the way. If I back this up, they better not give me a commercial. It might be nice. I mean, I'm going to get the whatchamacallit. Really? I got to come out of here just to grab that? Some nonsense and a half. We got the colors wash out. Compare that. When we hit the screen, it's just like my screen. Now, what I want you to take away from that is that, mind you, I want you to understand this. If you made, I know you're scared already, you know what I'm about to say. If you made a statement on your channel, I made a couple of videos with my label sitting on a container that wasn't my paint, and you made a statement that our products came up that dark, McAfee, Fernando, Rogers, Williams. If you made that statement, we do that to you in a court of law, it's over. You know that. I'm going to have you paint my screen in. You're going to do it for me. You're going to paint the screen in. You can try you want. You're going to paint that screen in. And it's going to do just like that in that courtroom, just like we had on our phone. So how is it possible that a screen would come up that dark and yet we can read the same thing off a cell phone? You're caught with this. Let me explain something to you. We're following cyber charges because you committed it online. Let me give you a little how bad this is going to be for you. I've seen people wet themselves in court. And 20 years is a long time to go away. It really is. Nobody wants to be in a place like that for 20 years. But you remember, you made these statements about my business. You said that our products came up so dark, they're unwatchable. Remember you said that, right? I want you to remember that. I think some people may have heart attacks when that document gets there. Because they know what's going to happen. I've been talking about this for a while, right? Okay, that's fine. I like to remind them on my channel. They leave because they already know from the door what's going to happen. They're scared. They're very scared. That's why they're reacting the way they're reacting. You should be scared. You should be. Court is terrifying. If you have the time, go over and watch on YouTube what happens to people who face cyber charges. It's pretty bad. How much jail time can you get for a cyber crime? First offenders, 5 years. So, this is what happens. If you're first offender, you get 5 years. But if you're basically, you can get up to 20 years for this crime. And judging the fact that we can show the judge that there were multiple people involved, they all this conspiracy theory of trying to take my company down, this reaches a 20-year process, which means you guys are eligible for 20 years in jail. Because you guys all got together and started this fake conspiracy about my company to try to destroy it. 20 years. And you guys are in your 50s. That's your lifespan right there. The average man doesn't make it past, you're lucky if he makes it to 71, 72, 73. But most likely we die off around 60, maybe 70, 72, 73. Around that range we die off. Very few lucky ones make it to 80. So that precious time in between there, that section, this is where it all counts. You want to spend that out here, not in there. So if you're caught on this, it's 20 years. Mind you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You're still going to have to go through the whole mail fraud nonsense that you've been going through. But by the way, I got to make another phone call down there today again on that. But anyway, that's for them. These are for people we don't know that, some people went out and said some very nasty things about our company and started these campaigns and got groups of people together to try to tear our business down because they were jealous over our products. And now these people, we know exactly where you live at and where you get your paycheck, and we know everything about you, that sooner or later we're going to have this where somebody comes to your front door to get ready for the process for court. So, can't avoid that's going to happen. But anyway, getting back to this whole nonsense about how y'all stuff don't work, it don't work, as you can see. Gray screen, not an upgrade. Downgrade. Let's do this one again. I like doing this. This is fun. Honesty. I'm listening to that today when I'm walking. Do, 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 do. I love Billy Joe. Good music. Good music. All right, let's go back here for you people who have white screens. Now, like I said, anyone selling you a gray screen paint tells you at the end of the day that you're getting an improvement. You are not getting an improvement at all, period. Any gray screen out there on the market right now, if you want to challenge Mr. Bird on what I just said, you let me know. I'll show you with my product next to yours that your screen will absolutely fail and not work. Please be careful. Choose your words very carefully. I have people online watching things to make sure that we can find people saying things they shouldn't say so we can drag into a courtroom. And please, please, I can't express this enough. Please, don't think fake accounts are going to help you or hide you. It won't work, okay? You got to, you know what you should do? Do your homework. Go look up what they call cyber investigators. Call one of them. And just give them a roundabout saying, hey, you got a problem with somebody and they're using fake accounts. Can you still track them? And watch they say, yeah, sure you can. That's going to make you wake yourself a little bit. Some people don't want to call because they don't want to find out. They don't want to know. Come on, let's not be a jerk. Back it up, baby. Back it up. I want to see this. Got things to do, places to go. Yeah, that's the difference between my technology and a white screen. So when I told you that the contracts that our company's going to acquire in the next couple of years, which means we'll be actually coding all of Allentown in black technology, I can do this in a demonstration right in their board meeting. Anywhere they go, I can go right in their office and do this on the same little tiny projector, my battery pack unit, and do this right in front of them. Now, as you saw, the gray screen claimed itself to be TV worthy. Stop that. That's a lie. You can't even match my cell phone. My cell phone, literally right here, could basically outperform your screen. So you're not TV worthy. I don't care what projector you buy in your demonstration. You can't pick up contrast. You can't see it. You can't see it. My black screen technology right here can generate literally a white level so high that it can basically match the OLED on my phone I have right here, including match the infinity contrast level that comes with it. Drop the mic. Boom. So, as I said before, when you hear me talk on camera, when you see me write all those schematics down, and you said at the end of the day that, hey, I'm a nut job, know what I'm talking about. Oh, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And I can also back it up too. So, for those of you at the end of the day, you're getting tired of getting ripped off by these people at the end of the day that can't back their products up. They don't do my demonstrations, as you can see at the end of the day, because they don't back it up. They're all talk. And for those of you at the end of the day who feel that you think my demonstrations are fake, you know what I'm going to say. Sign my contract, see me in court. That's what you do. Or, if my people do track down one of your videos and they see you have been making a mock and carrying on online, saying some things you won't be saying, I'll drag in the courtroom myself. If we drag in the courtroom itself, it's going federal. I'm hit you with a cybercrime. But you know what that carries now, right? All right then. So with that being said, well, it is what it is, people. Time to get rid of these people at the end of the day that are not doing their job correctly and give the customers what they paid for. There's no way in the world customers should have to pay $6,500 for a setup. You should be doing it way less than that. So when you buy from us, what are you going to do with all the extra money? Put it toward food, put it toward bills, whatever. You got plenty of money left over. I love it the most when I get customers that come in, they have a $3,000, $4,000 wallet set up for a projector. I'm going to buy this projector. What are you buying that for? You don't need that. You're not using that projector on my screen. Paint is not required. Well, what do I need? I got a projector over here. I get you one right now. How much I'm going to spend? Now, get you roughly like $80. Imagine, you were about to spend $3,000. Deep down inside, most people don't want to spend $3,000. They don't want to spend it. You know? There's other things you got to do with that $3,000. You'll be doing much more with that. But you need it for your setup. You're putting the investment. You're making the sacrifice. And imagine coming to us and finding out you're not even going to spend $100. The shock of it all. That you were told that you had to spend all this money in order. The more money you spend for your projector, the better your picture. And now you're being told it's not even necessary. But this projector here has a 4,001 contract. Doesn't make a difference. But this projector only has, like, look at the color. It doesn't make a difference. But it's only 1,000. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't even age shift. It doesn't make a difference. So how are my customers not calibrating and going through that bull crap? And you guys got high-end projectors, your advice to your customers, and they have to calibrate and go through all those little hurdles and hoops. It's like when they set up my stuff at the end of the day, they sit down, pop the popcorn, have you done paint down demonstrations. You can watch the screen dry right in front of you. And they'll sit down, easy demonstration. And meanwhile, on the other end, you guys got this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, watch the dancing gorilla jump from one hoop to the next. It'll amaze you. Watch him jump through the rings of fire and through the obstacle course. And oh my goodness, we're going to shoot him out of a cannon for the finale. That's what they go through. Bunch of bullcrap. And then you got to go through that widescreen nonsense, which means they sell you a projector. You got a whole family sitting up there smiling outside, inside, like, oh, you get the same thing. I've been to that one already, by the way. Go through that mess and hook it up and go, oh, well, that was short-lived. Yeah. All right, that being said, I'm glad we had this nice little chat, nice little talk. I do like to come out here and show off our technology. And that right talking, that's what we do. I'm gonna do that demonstration, by the way, on a short for fun, just to match or better demonstration. You know, have some fun with these people who make these fake products. Match or better. Now, don't sit there and say, oh, my product's not fake. You can see it. Yeah, I can see it. But the problem is that I don't see it correctly. You don't see it correctly. You're saying you pull black level, I'm telling you, you don't. You say you pull proper color, I'm telling you, you don't. You say you have ambient light rejection technology, I'm telling you, you don't. So what are you seeing? We're going to have to do this. Do we really have to go down this road? Please don't tell me we have to go down this road. Do we have to develop a screen paint called the Constellation? Are you going to make us do this to prove a point? Sheesh. Try our best at the end of the day. And try to stay on our side of the wall. Bring up the Constellation. Why? Why did they bag in it? Why? I love the screen. This is my favorite screen. Burn on. It's 150 inch. Now, like I told you before, with the other screens we showed you, yeah, it would cost you $5,000 just for 120 inch. This is 150 and it's 1610. This is a big boy. There we go. My big boy screen. Yeah, the game's on here. All right, hook up my gaming PC. Just pretty soon we'll be able to get a gaming PC for cheap. For cheap, paper for cheap. It's not the cube. The cube is something else. We'll do the cube later. We got another bill we're putting in. I'm gonna get the Price is Right as a ringtone on my phone. I'm like, oh snap, I know that song. It's the Price is Right, baby. $4K demonstrations, OLED. What's the man? Now, I forgot about that song. I definitely got to play that on the way on the walk. That's another song I have to listen to. See, this is something y'all can never, ever do. Y'all don't have that capability. And mind, I'm talking about for people who make these products. Y'all can't do this. This is a 150-inch screen. My projector cost me $130 for this setup. That's it. The panels we're painting them on, I got these for 12 for 60 bucks. And now it's hanging up, it's taped in the back, and it's just draped down hanging, that's it. On 2 screws, that's it. This technology converts everything into a screen. No complicated instructions, just whoop, roll it and you're done, that's it. It's like having a TV up there. I had several people and they just stare at it like, what the freak? Now they want them in their homes. Look at their glasses. Look at the reflection coming off their glasses. And again, projector cost me $130. This projector does 235.1. I got a 235.1 set up already over here. And my ultra short though we're going to run through here cost me 60 bucks. I just paid $37 for the lamp. So how much are you paying at the end of the day? Because you should be able to read that 100% contrast, those bright, beautiful colors. Look at the ice. Ice, baby. See how the lights are on? No problem. Yep. And we're going to replace the bottom area here, right there. That's going to be replaced. I'm actually going to be lengthening my screen a little bit more. I want it to fit right where the baseboard's hitting at. So we're going to lengthen the screen a little more. So I'm going to actually drop it down a little farther down. Options. Options. We don't have to be stuck in the dark if we don't want to. Options. No expensive projectors, no calibrating, no headache. This right here is the Apex Gamer. It's one of the most advanced screen paints we've ever developed. This is one of the paints that when Mr. Bird sat in the middle of the floor and made the statement by saying that from all these things, if none of my products are blessings from my Lord and Savior, may my Lord out me for the person that I am. And that screen popped up. We had a screen called something, the Black Cinematic. We had that. But this screen overpowered it. It was on the website for a little while, overpowered it. The Cinematic was an amazing technology, it was. This is far better than the Cinematic. This is when I spoke and made that statement to God and the world, and the Lord blessed me with that technology. And then turned around and gave me that technology over there that reads outside in the sun. And ever since then, all our technology's pushed to the roof. Now see, I can come out here and I can make the statement. There we go, right? See right here? This is what we got to replace. I see it every time in my screen. That panel right there got to go. See right there? It's changed my color right here. My color right here is nice and bright here. That panel, that square, got to go. It was damaged. I damaged when I put the computer on top of it, put dents all in it, and I got to put something there for the time being because I got to expand the screen because we got the ultra short though coming through, the lamp today, and I had to expand the whole screen. This screen was cut for 235.1. So I had to make another order for another set of panels, and we're going to basically put a new fresh set at the bottom and paint that in. You can watch all that on camera, how fast and easy it is for us to code over it. So yeah, we'll be showing that off. But yeah, that panel in the middle, damaged. Got to deal with it till my stuff comes in. But anyway, learn a valuable lesson. Don't set heavy stuff on top of them because the dents and stuff, even we damaged it. Because at the screen, when God was like, well, that part, if the screen came out that dark, the entire screen would be dark. Do you understand how physics work at the end of the day? So the whole screen would have the same reaction. No, it's just that one panel. It got damaged when I set the computers on top of it. That panel was actually behind here on my desk. But since now we got the lamp coming in, there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to hit this thing on the 235.1 setting because those projectors don't have 235.1. And my ultra short those coming through. So that'll be sufficient until the rest of my tiles come in and I can finish that off and get that done and be done with it. The only good thing about this is the fact that when I put the screen right here, the middle one right there in the center is a little bit longer, so I couldn't put it right up against it. I had to tape it a little bit behind it by that much, which actually worked out. And the reason why it worked out, because that's not fitting flushed against the screen right at the bottom. It's actually taped behind it. It's a little bit of a lip sticking out. These are all flushed against each other. So I'm thinking like, okay, I can deal with that. But now since that middle panel it's not giving us the reaction we need because it's damaged. We're going to take the other panels and line them up. They're going to lay against each one of them, and they'll lay flat, flushed against it. But because this one is pushed a little farther up, it's a little shorter because some of the panels behind that original screen, the ones we're going to put in, actually are longer. So when I put them in, when they hit there, it's going to be a little bit longer than the ones behind it. So what we're going to do is, instead of me taping the whole thing, which was a pain in the neck, I had to take the whole thing down and put it all back again, we can just glue them in one by one and leave it that way, which is much easier to do. And then we'll have the screen a little bit longer. So at least I can cover that baseboard strip. Because I don't want mine all the way down. I would like to have it all the way to the floor. The ultra short is going to cover all that. Everything works out. See, at the end of the day, this is what you should be getting. And spending all this money for expensive projectors, no, you shouldn't have to. If you want to spend the money for 4K, go spend the money for 4K. But you shouldn't have to be forced to spend the money for 4K. I hear from customers all the time, like, I really, I've read a lot about this projector, and it'll do good for my screen. You don't need to spend the money. Save your money, put it someplace else that you can use it to be more sufficient. You don't have to. That's the whole purpose of our technology. You don't have to. Our goal is to make sure you don't have to spend all this money for a setup. People got a family, you got a family. You want to have a nice big, you got a little entertainment room you want to hook up in there. You don't want to spend a lot of money. You spend thousands of dollars for a projector and setup. And you want a big screen in there too on top of that. Who doesn't? You know what the size your projectors can do? Your projectors can do all the way up to 300-inch screens. So at 300-inch screens, most people can't even afford a screen that high. Come again, get 150-inch because they're expensive. There you go. There's your solution right there. Got a higher white level to read. And I did pictures and videos of this one right here. Hooty hooty hoot hoot. Hooty. If I had me a freaking owl, would call him Hooty. Who's that? That's Hoot. I get a hoot and I get a toucan, even they're talking. The toucan's name would be What It Do. That'd be his name, like, yo, what it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? Hootie and What It Do. That sounds like a cartoon. Hootie and What It Do. You're probably wondering what that is. That's my projector. Watch this. My projector's on. Hold on, if I can get the plug on. There we go. That's coming from the projector hitting the screen. Now you see that? Right there? See that? Look. Ah, come on. Be nice with me. Be nice with me. Be nice. Don't be a jerk. I didn't ask you for all that. I did not ask you for all that. I asked you to bring it back some. Bring it back. Give me what I asked for. That's all I'm asking. If we go back too far? Are we too far? Probably so. Whatever. We'll play it through. This is what you should be to read from a projector. There's no way in the world you should be spending that type of money. I want them eyes open. Here we go. You should be to pick that up. See how bright the reds are, the yellows, all those colors? There's no way in the world you should be ever calibrating a projector. Are you freaking kidding me? Those machines have tons of colors. You know how old this machine is? I forgot this machine, probably about maybe 7, 8 years old. There's no way in the world you should ever be calibrating a projector. All those forum sites that you see about calibrate, bull crap. All you got to do is get your colors right. That guy who had that channel, the guy at the channel who talked about said our colors weren't correctly at the end of the day. Buddy, at the end of the day, you're lucky I'm a nice person because I dragged you into court on that one, sue you for it. Because again, you ever take any one of my products, I'm thanking you, did a great job to begin with. I appreciate that. But if you ever go in, and I'll send you an email person, you'll hear it from me, from the horse's mouth, you ever put my product in some dinky, cheap scam paints, at the end of the day, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to tell you something from the door. Next time you take my product, you stick it against high certified, Black Diamond, Elite Screens, any one of them, even a freaking TV, and don't stick me in some dark, dim environment. Put me in a well-lit environment. Respect my technology at the end of the day. That's what I didn't like about his whole thing. Other than that, he did a great job. He did. He did a real great job on the channel, so and so and so. But you stuck me against Jamie's paint. That trash at the end of the day, his company's not even in business. Scam paints. Put me against that trash. And Partay's paint. Can't even pour a proper black level to begin with. I don't know what that mess is. Don't put me against trash like that ever again. Next time you put me against high grade, certified, big boy screens. That's what you do. Stick me. And then make some statement about my color levels. Yeah, you do that, you're going to find yourself sitting up in the courtroom. I will sue you over it. Color levels, please. Beat every screen on the planet, just about. Well, we haven't found the rest of them yet. Still hunting for them. But, yeah, beat every single one. The first things I show when I come to my demonstrations is we show white levels, contrast levels, and colors. And I beat every single one of them. These guys are using high and expensive projectors, and we're over here using this, low entry-level projectors. Right now, I'm trying to find a projector cheaper than my $10 Sony. The Sony projector is the cheapest projector we have. I mean, I wish I could find a projector for like $8. Or $8 projector, man. But anyway, with that being said, I got to go. I got some business to take care of. You're tired of getting ripped off for the customers. At the end of the day, you want to get what you pay for, you reach out to us. You want to continue to get ripped off, you reach out to them. All right, that being said, of course, we thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessings with amazing technology, because again, if it weren't for him, this would never ever be possible. Oh yeah, lights out, this thing is a beast. But you never gonna do lights out? Too easy. That's why we're gonna do lights out. It's too easy. Too easy. That's why you rarely see lights out from us. It's too easy. What's how hard to turn the light on? Oh, you gotta turn the lights? Well, how hard is that? Really? Your freaking lights are out. That's supposed to be hard at the end of the day. It's not hard, it's easy. I can literally do that off notebook paper. So that's not hard. Lights on, baby. That's how it's supposed to be done. There we go. Hold on for a minute. Get a little dance in here. There we go. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Honesty. Yeah. Tell you something. Kabow! All right, time for me to blast. I got things to do today, people. We got blast. I remember, man, I walked in front of the screen with a black shirt on. I wear black shirts from time to time. And I walked in front of a black shirt, and somebody made the statement by saying, hey, matches, don't do that. I have demonstrations, black versus black. So many demonstrations on black shirts, t-shirts, clothes, all that stuff. We did all that stuff already. Don't do that. You'll get hurt in court. Trust me, don't do it. But anyway, I want to do a short demonstration on the cell phone match on our screen versus the gray and white. We got to do that before I leave. Got to do a short on that. It's going to be a matching better challenge. And we got a matching better challenge. Someone was asking about football on this thing. You have no idea what football looks like on the Apex gamer. It's absolutely amazing. It's football season, people. Football season. Some of y'all sitting up in these sports bar with these washed out screens at the end of the day. You got to upgrade. Turn those lights on. Buy our technology. Turn your lights on. And downgrade your projector, because you don't need to spend all that money. It's not even necessary. Put the money towards something else. Like I said, everything's expensive. But you want to spend more money? Get a cheaper projector. You know, with our technology, you can literally have a screen just about everywhere in your entire sports bar when that new technology comes out. Are you kidding me? Or are you talking about the daylight projection screen? Go anywhere you want to go. Can you imagine with a sports bar, you have a 150-inch see-through screen. You know the luxury of that technology at the end of the day, what it would do for your business establishment? Not only could you wallpaper your entire environment with the technology that basically can operate anywhere the freak it wants to go, but you can put an additional screen outside on the deck for your customers to watch. And do I need to say more? You shall. You can even put it in your window and advertise right through it. Can you imagine the applications of that tech? Affordable, no expensive projectors required, and it operates anywhere it wants to go. That's the future, baby. That's what we're building. That's what we're building. Anyway, I'm excited as a schoolgirl with a new dress, with the new dress, people. Oh, and that's a whole. Well, you can't say exciting. It's giddy, giddy, bird, giddy. Sorry, I'm gonna reback that up. I'm excited as a giddy as a schoolgirl with a new dress. giddy as a schoolgirl with a new dress. And guess what that is, people? That's a whole lot of giddy. The stuff we're going to do with AdTech is going to be unbelievable. I tell you, most fun I'm going to have with that screen is I like talking to the average customer. And with our technology we make today, the average customer, you know why? Because they've been trapped in that tradition brainwash nonsense. To tell them that they can have their lights on, telling them to spend money for expensive projector, no calibrating. I like going through eBay and finding them projectors at the end of the day and saying, here, we got you one for like $70. We got you one for $50. We got one here for $20. Saving money. How are you going to advise someone to buy a cheaper projector when you couldn't do it yourself? How does that work? Spend $3,700, $5,000 on its high-end projector, but yet you're going to advise a customer to go out and spend one for much cheaper than the one that you have, but you're not using the one that you advised them to go buy. How does that work? All right, well, I'm going to do my promo demonstration and get going with that. But that's my goal at the end of the day. And of course, we plan to have a ton of people who don't like what we do. We plan to have people that are going to fight against us on what we do. But I'm just here. I'm going to tell you something. You know the reason why you won't be having any victories? You know why you won't be able to take down my company? God. That's why. All of this technology, everything you see is his technology. Powered by God's technology. It's his blessing at the end of the day. He leads the charge in my battle. He's my shield at the end of the day. So, bottom line, you've watched a group of people rise up against me. You watch a group of people say some of the nasty things about me. You've seen a group of people attack my friends, attack my family. You watch them do all this here on YouTube. We're still here. But now with technology more advanced than we don't even know what to do with it. My Lord made himself known, did he not? So with that being said, we're here to stay for a very long time. And I plan to engineer a lot of amazing technology from what he's given to me and these new blessings to be able to develop technology that even the everyday Joe can afford with no problem. Instead of spending $5,000 for a screen or $3,000 a screen, everyday Joe can just go online and click and just order a screen at the end of the day that would cost them far less than what the heavy certified screens and more superior than white and gray screens at the end of the day. Now, I gotta go, but a little refresher here. If anyone feels, at the end of the day, anyone feels, I may have fun and joke around on camera, but I'm not the one to play with it in court, trust me. I'm a different person. But anyone feels that anything we've done here is completely falsified, fake, maybe we're using some special equipment on our cameras or lighting, I don't know what the freak they say, but you feel that in any way, be a man, or you're a woman, and sign that contract, and you meet Mr. Bird in court. And I guarantee you it'd be the worst mistake you ever made in your life. I guarantee it to you. It'd be the worst mistake you ever made. Mind you, once you sign, you can't get out of those things. Because if you sign and you refuse, then we'll basically file against you in court. We'll override it and bring you into court either way, whether you like it or not. You made the statement, right? All right then. Giddy up! All right, until then, I have things to do today. What do we got on the agenda, Mr. Bird? Well, I'm going to do a football demonstration because people requested football demonstrations. They want movie demonstrations on this. Somebody requested kids, movies, and stuff like that. We'll take care of that. If we keep the movies short and sweet, we can do it because that's what I found out. They'll be short and sweet. Can't be too long. What else? We have the lamp coming in for the projector, so we definitely want to set that up with some ultra short. Bam, bam, bam. To show people at the end of the day what you're really supposed to be getting out of your ultra short projector, and stop spending too much money, for goodness sakes. Stop it. Stop spending too much money. On top of that, we got the village to work on. I'm going to work on the village early because can't be creaking out here like 3 o'clock and 2 o'clock building on this thing. So we got to get that done early. So we get that done. What else we got to do, Mr. Bird? Oh, yeah. So we have a demonstration with the flex. Flexing. Hold on, flexing. Got to flex for a minute. We'll flex with the flex. Okay, I'm done. So we got the flex. So we're going to put the flex on one side. We're going to do rear projection on this side and front projection on that side. Boom. Yes. Yes, rear projection. On our 50 lumen, 300 lumen setup. I decided with the table, that instead of putting it with scatter with steampunk art, I'm going to paint it all black with our technology, not the table itself. We're going to actually redo the whole tile system on it, and we're going to turn the entire table into the ultimate projection screen setup. And we're going to use the QME projectors with a special setup that we can hook up, that we can drop an image right on the table. Because I would love to be able to watch stuff off my table. I think that would be pretty cool. Drop a couple of neon lights. I got to repair my drawer over here, hook up the desk a little bit more better, and yeah, go from there. All right, then. Did we cover everything there? We got, what's that? We're building a new gunmetal technology. There's another 30 or something. It's not, well, we can't tell you the name of it, but there is a gunmetal that we actually are working on. It's front and rear technology. We lost that over there. And then we have a paint-on version of the gunmetal coming out. And then we have the ultimate gaming screen, a new Apex, which is actually that technology, but it's black. It's absolutely amazing. It's going to be front and rear technology, all that cool stuff. So yeah, been working some crazy stuff. And then we got this fish tank we're building. That's going to be pretty cool. Fish tank involving some plexiglass, our technology, a mirror, and one of these projectors right here to blow the image up. We're going to use a reverse mirror mode to do it. Using a mirror to do it. Short trick. Then tell you how to do it. That's going to do it. All right. And then hopefully, if we're lucky, fingers crossed, and we get a lot of snow up here, Mr. Bird plans to be out in the snow playing with the new technology, showing fireplaces all over the place. I plan to get some marshmallows and some hot cocoa. Oh, my sister got me that cup too. She got me a cool cup. I never had one of these cups that you put stuff in and it stays hot in there. Like, I didn't think they really worked. That thing actually freaking works. So we're going to be out there with some hot cocoa and some marshmallows, and we're going to be watching some fireplaces out there. Chilling at some fireplace, chill in the snow, and drink some hot cocoa with some marshmallows next to the flame. That's how we're going to do our demonstrations for that technology. So if we get some snow, we're going to be out there doing those demonstrations. Till then, I have to build an outer box for the QME, because there's no way I'm dragging one of these big boys out there in the snow. I'm going to use our QME projector right here to do the whole demonstration with, which is more than enough power. And we're going to go out there and do some demonstrations. Let's watch some, have some fun. All right, people. I got to go. As I said before, seek God, be blessed. At the end of the day, like I said, it's more important than all this technology, God and your salvation. The stuff don't mean jack without God at the end of the day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for stopping by. I have to go. I'll be back in later on to do some other stuff. We got more to do today, and God bless. Oh, real quick, overseas orders. You've been asking us this question. We do ship overseas. We ship through express shipping, because there's only tracking numbers that can be traced. For some reason, the priority doesn't work anymore, so we spend extra money to ship you guys off. Shipping is absolutely free, so we can ship to you anywhere you want. I just shipped to France, I think, last week. So, yeah, we can ship to you for free, no problem whatsoever. But the only thing we ship is 32 and 24s. That's all we ship. That's it. All right, with that being said, thank you for your time, and God bless.